Hi everyone, this is Gabe with Harvest, and today I'm going to make a video explaining what the live mode feature is in Harvest and what it's useful for and how to use it. Now, in order to use live mode, you're still going to want to have a rhythm. So I'm going to tap one out right here. I'll use the MIDI tap to do that, and I'll have actually a note selection with just one note on it, just so I can tap out the rhythm and see what it is. I'll make it a 2-bar sequence, and I'll zoom out to see that. I'll hide the note selection because I don't need it right now. I'll make the note lengths 1/8, and the BPM is at 120. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to tap out a rhythm using this MIDI keyboard, and we'll see if I can come up with anything interesting. All right, so that's just a basic rhythm. I'll turn off the metronome and I'll turn off MIDI tap. Now that I've tapped out my rhythm, I'm ready to use live mode, and I'll turn on live mode. That's this red button over here, and making sure that the track that Harvest is on is still armed. I'm ready to go. So you'll see every time I press a note on my keyboard, there's going to be a new sequence generated around that single note. So if I press this one, you can see the whole sequence move to that note, this one to that note. So it would sound like this. And that's just with one note. So you don't have to use it with one note, although you could. You can use it with chords. So I'll do the same thing with chords. So you can see why this feature is called live mode, because if you were to play live on stage to your track or to a metronome, then you could play your chords on your instrument and the melody would be following along. You can get pretty crazy with this. If you were to have, let's say, just 64 notes in your sequence, and if you wanted, you could also include an octave. What we have now is just like this really crazy sequence that sounds like this. All right, so there's another way you can use live mode, and this is better suited for when you're in the studio. If you already have a chord progression you like on your track, then it's great for that. To show what I'm talking about, I need a chord progression, so I'm going to go ahead and record my chord progression in manually. So to do that, I'm going to turn off live mode, and now my keyboard is working normally. And I'm just going to record that simple chord progression in, turn on the metronome, and just record it on the track that Harvest is on. So we're still controlling the marimba track, but we're recording onto the track that Harvest is on. So press record and... And now that I've cleaned it up, I'm going to duplicate it on my track a couple times. So now what we have is a chord progression, and this could be any chord progression, but instead of me playing it into the keyboard, it's going to just be recorded. So it's still going to be feeding through Harvest. Live mode is still going to be functioning the same way. The only difference is I don't have to play it. It's already on my track. So this is great for complex chord progressions that you've already figured out, where the note pool is changing and you don't want just one static note pool the entire time. So I'll turn on live mode again. I don't have a rhythm because I've cleared it. So what I'll just do is I'll just go with 16th notes, and you'll see as I press play that it's going to follow my chord progression once again. You can still use your effects with live mode, so I could have it, ascending like this, and it would sound, like this. You could also use the rest effect to create random rhythms every time, and since the sequence is being regenerated every time, the rhythm is never going to be the same twice. So here's what that sounds like. because the MIDI is running through to my instrument track, all I need to do is record that track, and I can record the result of what's being randomized. So I'll just press record in Ableton. So as you can see, the melody that was generated with live mode can be saved just by recording. So that's it. That's basically everything you can do with live mode. It's a useful tool for complex chord progressions, for live show situations, for even more random sessions when you're writing based off of what you're playing or based off of what's on the track. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, you could email us at contact@harvestplugin.com. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I hope this video helped you out. Thanks so much for watching. See you on the next one.